Ladies, gentlemen, and young ladies, the strike that Israel carried out, we will say Israel and Washington have delivered from the Qatar side. After the reactions, the different reactions that Qatar's allies had to deal with, Washington is making a U-turn. Washington is now playing the innocent. Donald Trump does not want. The thing continues. The fear is there. Yes, there is fear because they know those behind now Qatar. They hit the Qatar. Qatar has even gone so far as to convene an emergency meeting at the Council of UN Security. Qatar has really showed that yes, what happened past there, they don't want that anymore and they are ready for revenge. And Qatar even announced that he was going to get revenge. That's clear. In a statement made public, a high officials, I believe it is the Qatari Prime Minister, he announced that Qatar would take revenge. There is no half measure. So how is Qatar going to revenge? How does Qatar want to do it? What if Qatar takes revenge by striking Israel? That means the thing has broken out between Israel and Qatar. This means to say that America is definitely losing another ally, since they are both key allies of the United States who are in conflict. Not to mention that Israel brought an unwavering support for Qatar. Israel says he is with me. I say Israel. Sorry, Iran. I was going to say Iran has gave its unwavering support to Qatar. Iran says it is with Qatar and never to the end. However, you know the love of revenge that Iran has against Israel and Washington. So everything is mixed up. God knows what baggage is heavy. Benjamin Netanyahu no longer understands nothing. In the whole region of Middle East, Middle and Near East, Arab capitals began to put together. The Arab capitals began to unite. Meetings began, and all of these meetings have the aim of objective how to strengthen the axis of the resistance against Israel. All of them in rising up against Israel and the United States of America, whether it be the Yemen, whether it is the outists of the Yemen, Hamas, etc., etc. So every day that God makes, Israel creates new enemies. And these enemies have supporters. So they are strengthening their bloc. So what he's preparing is very, very severe. It's like a time bomb that is deposited there. And so that's why ultimately we have Donald Trump, who came out of his silence as he had done between Israel and Iran. Because if they don't leave off his silence, if he does not speak, it is finished. If he leaves Israel in the hands of the Arab countries, Arab countries, Arab capitals don't joke. When these capitals say, Allah Akbar, it's over. When you are considered like someone who fights against God by its Arab capitals, it's over for you. Already Donald Trump was declared Mohareb by Iran. Yes, so Donald Trump has broken his silence. He makes a turnaround and he gives Israel an ultimatum. And so it is from this exit that we will talk about this video conference. But before continue, I humbly ask you to share this video as much as possible. Lots of likes. Don't forget to share. Whether it's groups WhatsApp, whether it's groups Telegram, whether it's groups Facebook, you have to share the video conferencing. Yes, that's what gives the strength to always be there for you. Give the information. And then those who download my videos for them post at their place there. You will lose your different pages and your various accounts. I will inform. If you want to take my video conferences, you must have my consent. You're informed, right? So, let's go deep. According to official information, the US President Donald Trump demanded that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu commits. He must agree not to carry new strikes against Qatar. This is what he asks of Israel, Netanyahu. He must commit to no longer strike again against Qatar. The information was relayed by Axios. It must be said that no baggage that is heavy. The Arab countries that unite, even those who were in conflict, have decided to unite. Otherwise, Qatar and Iran did not understand each other, because Iran, in search of a base American in Qatar, Iran struck very well the capital. I said Iran hit Qatar Doha. It existed between them. It's quiproquo. But if they have decided to leave it aside, Qatar first withdrew from its mediator role in the Palestine-Israel crisis. Qatar received support from Russia. All sovereign nations, even the China, condemned the Israeli strike and supported Qatar. The bloc is formed against the two rebels of the world who believe themselves really the people who can do anything do, people who are allowed to do anything. So according to Donald Trump, the head of the Israeli government has not consulted neither Donald Trump nor his advisors before hitting the Qatari infrastructure. So Donald Trump justifies himself, manpower is justified, so that the Qatar understands that it has nothing to do with it in this, because Qatar accused directly to Washington. Qatar said if Israel struck, it was with fire Washington's green, and Qatar has promised to take revenge. Qatar is a country, calm down. They are not in the mansion thing. But why do we come? Hit him while he is playing a role mediator. A mediator cannot receive one of the parties to the conflict in the same way that he received how we call the Hamas authorities. It is in the same way that Qatar could obviously receive Netanyahu and all the others, all the other parts. Why are we coming to hit Qatar? Qatar is very upset, extremely wound up. So Donald Trump justifies himself. He says he was not consulted, nor even his advice had not been were consulted by Netanyahu. That is, Netanyahu acted like a spoiled baby. He did as he saw fit. So according to Axios media sources, Donald Trump held 2 meetings on September 9, telephone interviews with Benjamin Netanyahu to discuss the attack against Qatar. So that's where he said, "This is unacceptable. I demand that you do not repeat it again." Here's how Donald Trump insisted during a telephone conversation with Netanyahu, quoted by sources from the Axios news site. So Donald Trump doesn't want to issue. We don't know if it's still a trap, a communication technique. Nothing is not sure. But still, Donald Trump no longer wants that Israel strikes Qatar again. But will Qatar limit itself there? Question mark. So ladies, young ladies and gentlemen, that was the front page of the news. So I'll come back to you right away the time with new information. It was the voice of your only samurai.